Hi, Brock VandenBerg, president of TaliMar Financial. Here in the office, it is Sunday morning, the 16th, and just preparing for the upcoming week. Kind of a short week this week. We have MLK Day tomorrow, which means all banks will be closed, so no closings tomorrow, but we'll be off and running Tuesday through Friday. Looking at our pipeline right now, we've got a little over 20 million to close in the next about 30 days. Currently in the mortgage portfolio or assets under management, we have 82 loans totaling a little over 47 million. We have topped up above 52 million about mid last year, had some payoffs, but we like to see about around that 50 million mark is kind of where we generally sit in terms of assets under management. Now that includes both our traditional trustee investment platform and our more recently launched mortgage fund platform. So as I mentioned last week, we surpassed 10 million in terms of loans in the mortgage fund. That is a huge threshold to pass, simply two reasons. First, number one, we anticipated maybe 3 to 4 million raised for the fund by the end of last year, so we far exceeded that. And then number two, that 10 million mark kind of takes us above the threshold to start to attract more institutional debt for the mortgage fund. The reason why we use debt in the mortgage fund is to ensure that all the capital that is invested in the fund remains active in loans, such that if I anticipate a couple payoffs in the future, I can fund a loan up front using a line of credit. When those loans pay off, I can use those proceeds from the payoff to pay off that line of credit, invest in that loan, versus waiting for those funds to be paid off and then that cash sits in the mortgage fund, not earning any interest, which drives down the overall yield. So it creates more of a consistent investment platform for our investors. Additionally, as we grow the size of the mortgage fund, the operational costs decrease as a percentage of the yield. So operational costs for a mortgage fund stay relatively consistent even while the size of the mortgage fund goes up, and so that at the end of the month or year, the cost doesn't take such a big hit on the yield of the mortgage fund. Our goal by the end of 2022 is to exceed 30 million, and I think we're way on our way to meeting that goal. So just to real cover, some of the reasons why you might want to consider investing in the mortgage fund, especially if you are an existing trusted investor, either with TaliMar Financial or with other mortgage brokers, is that number one, it can be a short-term option. You don't have to commit for a long period of time in the mortgage fund. We've actually waived the 12-month lockup period, and so that it can be kind of a short-term platform for you to invest capital or cash that you might be sitting on the sidelines with. Additionally, it offers more of a consistent approach to investing in trust deeds than individual trust deed investments. With individual trust deed investments, obviously, you're always looking for a new trust deed once a trust deed pays off. In today's very, very competitive market space, it's really hard to find good trust deeds. Number one, most of the mortgage brokers that have been in the trust deed world are now selling their loans off to institutional capital partners, including companies like ours, just because for them, the process of selling a loan is much easier than trying to attract capital for a trust deed investment. And so with more and more capital entering the market space, I think the traditional approach of individual trustees is getting a little more difficult for investors to be able to place their money in those trust deeds. Am I going to say it goes away? Obviously not. And then especially when the markets change and the capital markets disappear, obviously there'll be more trust deed investments available at that point. When is that going to occur? I don't know. Either way, our mortgage fund could be an option for you if you're just looking to place money on a short-term basis. Additionally, the mortgage fund offers more of a diversified approach as opposed to individual trustees. If you're both on a fractional or whole basis, you are invested in one or just a basket of trustees. In our mortgage fund portfolio, we've got over 20 assets in the fund, and that's growing pretty quickly. And so if any individual trustee pays off or stops paying, your income stream does not stop. We have all the other assets in the mortgage fund that are paying. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the difficulty in placing money in trustees these days. I get calls every day about investors looking to place money in an individual trustee. And as we raise more and more capital for the mortgage fund, you're going to see a lot more of those loans going into the mortgage fund. We are opening up an allocation of roughly $3 million through the end of the month. A lot of people ask, well, why, Brock, do you open these allocations up? Well, first and foremost, number one, I want to make sure that the capital that we have in the mortgage fund is always invested. So I never want to raise too much money so that I can't keep all the money invested. But we've got a very high, healthy pipeline of new loans coming in. So we can open our allocation up to $3 million for the end of this month. If you're interested in, number one, increasing your current allocation in the mortgage fund, it's very simple. We'll go ahead and send you out your an updated subscription agreement with the increased number, and we can have your funds active within 24 hours. Those that are on the fence thinking about investing or not, feel free to take a first step. The minimum is $50,000. You get a feel for how the mortgage fund operates. If it's something that you want to do longer term, you can always add additional capital in the future. If you don't know anything about mortgage funds and you're interested in learning more, feel free to either visit our website at TaliMarFinancial.com and read through the executive summary that we post on our website, or give me or my team a call, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you about the pros and cons of investing in a mortgage fund. As many of you have been using, and some of you are asking more questions about, the Lender Portal. So I come in, every morning I wake up, I actually log into our Lender Portal, the same portal that you log into, and I view and get updates on the current status of the mortgage fund. So through the Lender Portal, you can see exactly how many loans are invested in the fund, what the outstanding balance of the fund is, what the gross yield of the loans in the fund. In fact, you can break it down by loan type in the fund, and you can actually break it further down and view all the loans in the fund. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Lender Portal, where you find it, how you log in, and how you can view information on the mortgage fund. Let's take a look. All right, so those that are not familiar with the Lender Portal, the Lender Portal is a portal for our investors to view all our available trust deeds. Additionally, they can view all the loans and the stats of the loans in the mortgage fund. The Lender Portal is easily accessible. Just go to the website at TaliMarFinancial.com and go under Investing, Trust Deed Investing, and go to Trust Deed Portal. So once you get to the Trust Deed Portal, if you already have a username and password, great. If you don't, go ahead and select Not Registered and create a new account, and you can easily create a new account. It takes just a couple of minutes. So let's go ahead and sign in. So when you sign into that Lender Portal, you're going to be able to view all your accounts with TaliMar Financial, including the outstanding balances of those accounts, the average yields of your accounts, and then the monthly income from the account. Obviously, I am managing TaliMar Income Fund REIT, which makes a bulk of the investments that I have in trust deeds. Here on the Trust Deed Portal, you can view all the loans that you are currently invested in. Again, most of these loans represent the mortgage fund. You can view all the available trust deeds. So here you'll be able to view that we have 2 posted. One is coming soon under the status. And then the second looks like it's going to be reserved for the fund as well. So many of you asked the question of Brock, it looks like you reserve a lot of the trust deeds for the mortgage fund. That is true. We are pushing as much of the loans into the mortgage fund as we can. And the next question is, well, how do you know which loans to allocate to the mortgage fund? honestly, it's simply based upon the availability in the mortgage fund. So if there's no capital available in the fund to make that loan, we'll go ahead and make it available to our trusted investors. Here we've added and updated the mortgage fund tab. So if you are currently invested in the tab, you'll have access to this tab. You'll be able to view your account information, so all the accounts that you currently have in the mortgage fund. So this out shows how much I personally have invested in the fund. You can look at a snapshot of the portfolio, and this is really what I think, really what interests me is kind of real time, what is currently invested in the fund. So you'll notice you'll get a portfolio overview. You can view the number of loans in the fund. So we have 22 loans in the fund, totaling a little over 10 million. Average yield of those loans are 7.75% return. The average loan to value is roughly 64%. Our focus is to try to keep that under 65. And the average term of the loan is 15 months. You'll also be able to see the allocation of loan types, as you'll notice that it's a large allocation towards just simple bridge loans versus fix and flip and fix and hold loans. Also, you'll be able to view the property types. So again, a heavy allocation for SFR loans. Be able to view by county. So as we expand, you'll see more and more loans in various counties, but still overwhelmingly, we are in the San Diego County, our backyard. And again, the ownership types as well. Additionally, you're going to be able to view the full loan schedule. So you can go down to loan detail of the assets in the fund. So we go ahead and list all of them. So 22 assets in the fund with a total aggregate investment balance of a little over 10 million. So it's a powerful tool. I recommend if you are interested in investing in the fund, give us a call and we can get you started on getting set up for the mortgage fund. All right, so as you can tell, the Lender Portal is a great tool to use if you want to be actively investing in both trust deeds through TaliMar Financial, or if you want to view the current condition or status of the mortgage fund. As I had mentioned, we are opening an allocation of $3 million for the mortgage fund through the end of the month. If you're interested in increasing your current allocation, or you're interested in just getting started with the mortgage fund with a $50,000 minimum investment, feel free to reach out to me or my investor team. You can log in or you can do that through the website. Looking forward to an extremely busy week coming up. And our team is always here to answer any questions you have about trust deed investing or the mortgage fund. Thanks for listening and look forward to hearing from you.